Okay, friends, we're going to do lesson 2.2, Big Ideas. And we're still on inequalities. So we're going to focus on addition and subtraction. Okay? Okay? And this is not going to be bad, friends. Okay? Says actually pretty easy. Okay? So it's the same as when we were solving for equations. Okay? So, for example, okay, how would I solve? Well, I still do the onion method like I've been doing. Okay, so I want to move this 6. Well, in order to do that, I have to add 6. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. You're like, wow, where have I heard that before? I only say that every time. By the way, friends, when you do this, this is the addition property of inequality. Okay, the addition property of inequality. You know what? It's not, it's the whole fact that we're just adding, okay? So I get an X. This cancels out. My sign does not change. And what's a negative 10 plus 6? Well, that's a negative 4. So now it's time to graph the inequality. Okay, here I am at a negative 4. Now, do you remember this? So this says, this is a sign underneath. So open or closed? You're right, it's closed because it's equal to. Now let's read this from the variable. X is greater. Oh, that's to the right. So everything greater than negative 4. Okay? You can pick a number that's greater than negative 4, plug it back in again, and it'll make that inequality true. Okay? And that's not a bad thing to do because then you can check your work. Okay, friends, your turn. Okay, this is the part where you might stop the video and do this and then start it to see my work. We'll add 3 to each side. 8, all right, here we go. Let's read it from here. M is, oh, first of all, I probably better get my line right. So open or closed? You're right, closed. All right, M, the small end is towards, so M is less. Less is to the left. Okay, so anything to the left of 8. Now, it might be helpful if you label the rest of these, but you don't have to. Okay? So, friends, what do you think would be the next piece? You're right, it's subtraction. So, the subtraction property, you guessed it, is just dealing with subtracting. K plus 5. Okay, so in order to onion this, I need to move this 5. And by doing subtraction, you're doing the subtraction property of inequality. Okay? And inequality meaning this. So I get K and I get a negative 8. There we go. All right, open or closed? Another closed. All right, here we go. Read it from the K. K is less. Oh, left to the left. Okay. Okay. Now, solve from the variable. Here we go. So minus 1/6. Remember, fractions are friends. It's okay. 5/6 minus 1/6 is 4/6, which reduces, right? That really reduces to what? 2/3. Okay, now read this from the variable. Don't get tricked. First of all, open or closed at 2/3. Now 2/3 is between what? 0 and 1. Okay, so don't get tricked. So this is an open circle. So Z, so big mouth is open. So Z is greater. So to the right. And I know that sounds really silly to do that, but you know what? It really works, friends. It really does. So that's really important. Okay, so I want to read you a story, okay, of a problem. A circuit overloads at 1,800 watts of electricity. Okay, so I'll even show you. Okay, a circuit overloads at 18 watts of electricity. You plug a microwave oven that uses 1,100 watts of electricity into the circuit. Okay, write and solve an inequality that represents how many watts you can add to the circuit without overloading the circuit. Okay, so 1,800 watts is our maximum, right? I already plugged in a microwave that's 1,100. So how much more can I add? And what should be my sign? Should it be this? Or should it be this? Do I want to be bigger than 1,800? Well, what's going to happen if I'm bigger? You're right, you're going to blow a breaker, okay? So I want to be this piece. In fact, let's talk. Do we want to be equal to 1,800? That would really have to, you'd have to think about it, because I don't know if you want to be equal to 1,800. I think you want to be even less than. So maybe a better would be actually just less than. I don't think you want to get that close to your wattage. So could you figure out what wattage you can still have? Well, sure. How do I solve for X? Well, that's easy. Just subtract 1,100 from each side. So your appliance has to be less than 700 watts. And don't forget to go back and label. So anything that runs on 700 watts will be acceptable. So when given a choice, which one would be acceptable for you to run on there? Well, the toaster, definitely not. A hot plate, no way. You could definitely do a blender and the clock radio. Both of those would be okay. So see how you can use inequalities in real world. Okay, friends, that's all.